I got it fixed. It never fails. Good evening. Welcome to TalkWrite podcast. I'm your host, Wayne Stinnett. And with us tonight, we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. We got Kevin Tumlinson and Mark Lefebvre with Draft2Digital. And Nick, why don't you take over and explain a little bit about what these guys do while I try to figure out what I'm doing wrong.
Okay. Well, actually, after I talked to them a bit about what they do, I've decided I'm going to let them tell us what they do because I can't keep track of all the hats they have and all the different skills and all the different things that Draft2Digital does. So we have Kevin Tumlinson and Mark Lefebvre. You guys can unmute when you get a chance. Mark, did I get that correct? Is it Mark Lefebvre?
100%.
Excellent. You got all these spare letters. Like if you lose a letter, you got backups. That's
I know, it's
excellent.
great. It's like spare tires right in my name.
Marvelous. Well, since you're chatting in it, well, you just went mute. Hey, Kevin, tell us what you do at Draft2Digital.
Okay, I am the director of marketing and PR for D2D. So basically, I handle all the out-facing messaging so that I can funnel more authors to all these tools and resources that we have to help them become successful and empowered authors. That's the nutshell version.
Nutshells are good. We'll start with that. And Mark, how would you describe what you do with D2D?
My title is Director of Business Development. I work on partnerships with new partners, potentially new places we want to distribute to, also focusing on author promotions and the books to read aspect, the free tools that we have available to authors there.
Excellent. Well, I think one of the things we've got, we have a lot of writers that watch this show. And from my understanding, you guys are becoming a big gorilla in the self-publishing realm with ebooks, I believe, is where you began. But I believe you're spreading out into all things, tendrils reaching forth. Can you tell us a bit about what one gets when they go Draft2Digital with ebooks and go wide that way?
Well, okay, so we are, the brag is that when you use Draft2Digital to distribute your books, we can get you global. We actually have a presence in, I believe at this point, it's literally every country on the planet. And retailers, both major and minor, library systems, we've got you covered all around. We get you to most. I'm sorry. I heard a question and I stopped. So
that was just me feedbacking. I'm on YouTube now, so I can field questions.
Okay, all right, no problem. Okay. I was going to answer the question all over again.
I introduce somebody, and then I tell Nick to take over, and then I jump over.
I saw none of our mouths moving when that voice came out. So
I was impressed. I'm like, I don't even know ventriloquism.
I'm looking at the skulls behind Mark's head and seeing if they're doing it. Okay, so yes, you're global.
We are global. Yeah, we're global publishing. That is what we bring to the table for the self-publishing crowd out there, authors and publishers alike. We're not just for authors. We are also for small presses. If you've got books, a book or books, and you want them to reach readers somewhere on the planet, we're your best bet.
I'm going to send us off on a very granular question. If you're global,
yes,
and you're trying so many different things, do you have any connections with translation services? Is that something you've ever considered?
Now, Mark Lefebvre may be able to hop in on this because he may know things I don't know. But at present, we don't have partnerships with any translation services directly. But it's something that's always kind of on the radar.
Well, we do have links to partners, trusted partners like Reedsy, where you can find professionals.
That's
like
true.
There.
Yeah.
With the coming advent of AI technology, I imagine that there will be better opportunities in the next year or two for authors. And if there are opportunities for authors where we can partner with somebody to help save them money, that's kind of in our DNA.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That does sound like us.
Watching these guys with Draft2Digital for what, 5-6 years ago now, and you just keep growing and growing and gobbling up more and more, and I'm loving it. The connection between you and Reedsy, that happened right out there at the Tiki Bar, didn't it?
That was Dan Wood, who is our Chief Operating Officer. I have to pause because his title has changed a couple of times since I came on board 6 years ago now. The relationship with Reedsy was born under a tiki hut on the beach in St. Pete's Beach, over drinks. That's exactly how that relationship formed. So, actually, don't let me put words in anybody's mouth. I don't know. They may have had a relationship before that, but that's all I knew of the relationship.
I think that's where the friendships happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
So many different friendships happen out there by that tiki bar, and
people have no idea, Wayne,
together that have like ambitions and like
right
interests, and it just sometimes magic happens.
That tiki bar is the birthplace of so many like influential changes in the publishing industry. People have no idea. That simple little tiki bar.
Yeah, nothing else.
That's right.
So we were talking off camera a little bit before we actually started, and Jordy, you got sorry, we got a sound problem.
Oh,
You need to mute that. Can you hear me now?
well, we've been able to hear you all this time, actually.
Oh, okay. I'm just chattering away.
Sometimes twice.
But anyway, what was I saying? Lost my train of thought.
Well, let me dive in here and ask when people. I'm going to ask a question that I'm sure everyone could Google and get the answer immediately, but it's probably one of the first things people want to know if they're going to choose Draft2Digital is how much royalty do I keep, and is it a percentage of net, and if so, how much net doesn't get to you, like what are you looking at if you have, say, a $8 book?
Mark, I was going to let you jump in on that.
Easier math. Let's
Yeah,
go with $10 so I can do the math.
Go with 10. Yes.
So one of the benefits of Draft2Digital is, yes, you can publish direct to many of the platforms, not all of them. There's most of the library platforms you can't get to directly anyways. But if you were to use Draft2Digital to publish to a retailer, for example, as opposed to going direct, a $10 book would earn you $7. That's what you would end up. Well, I mean, with some platforms, you don't get the full $7, but because they charge for the size of the file, etc. But with Draft2Digital, we're taking 15% of the gross, so 10% off of the margin. So you'd make $6 instead of $7. Now, an interesting tidbit, and the thing that people don't know, is we have great deals with all of the major platforms except Amazon, where even if you price below $2.99, you'd still get the 60%. Whereas in many of those platforms, if you're publishing direct, you're not necessarily making the full 70%. So in some cases, for those, first book in series that may be 99 cents, you're actually earning 60 cents from Draft2Digital as opposed to 35 cents or 45 cents. Whatever.
Coveted BookBub deal. It goes a long way.
Yeah, exactly. So just more money in your pocket for those ones as well. But the other thing that a lot of people don't realize, because a lot of people are trained by Amazon that thou shall never price outside of $2.99 to $9.99, because that's where you get your 70%. But all of the other major players provide authors with the full scale discount beyond $9.99. So, for example, when you have digital bundles and box sets that are more expensive, you still get the 70% if you're publishing direct, or 60% if you're publishing through Draft2Digital to publish those platforms. And we do know, because we do have partnerships with major retailers, Nook and Apple and Kobo, that unlike Google and Amazon, there's a lot of merchandisers, human curation that happens at those retailers. And they are used to working with a lot of the big publishers. And so the big publishers are basically providing what I like to consider ripoff prices. An ebook that an indie author would sell for maybe $4 or $5.99, the traditional publisher in the same genre will charge $12 to $15. Yeah. And so they're used to working with these higher price points. So oftentimes when you have a digital box set that's priced $18.99, it could be 300,000 words or more of content that's really going to provide a huge value for readers, and that's attractive both to the retailer as well as to the reader, and of course attractive to you, because through Draft2Digital you're still getting your 60%.
Well, that's a big benefit, big plus. And that leads us right into things other than ebooks. Draft2Digital has a beta program for paperbacks.
Yep.
And why don't we talk about that for a little bit?
So D2D print, and I'm going to hand the mic to Mark here in a second because he actually seems to know a little more about the knit and grit of things as they're working with D2D print. But this started quite a few years ago now. We entered into sort of a beta program for this. Beta just means that it works. Everything works exactly the way it's going to work when the full version is available. But there are still these kinks that we need to work out here and there, testing and that sort of thing. Well, at this point, the only thing left for us to quote unquote fix about D2D print is the issue of author copies. You can get author copies in the US and North America for pretty cheap because it's not there's not a ton of shipping costs. Shipping costs are always going to be high no matter what, but they're not quite as bad as they are with sending things overseas. So that's the riddle we're trying to solve at the moment. We've got some partnerships going where we can get that dealt with. But D2D print, I've been using it since we came up with the thing. It has a whole ton of features that you would demand from a print-on-demand service. And we've got, expanded distribution. You can get to Amazon through us, but we actually sort of recommend that you can go to Amazon through us and do that. But we actually recommend that you also use the KDP print to get your book on Amazon, just because they offer a few things that we're not going to be able to match. Mostly it's because they favor their own books. Let's just be honest. Amazon favors promoting their own stuff. We can give you all the same stuff they give you, but we have better expanded distribution. So what we tell people is put it in KDP print, don't use their expanded distribution, use us, and you got the best of all worlds. But we've got things built into this tool that are just fantastic that I can't stop raving about. Like we have, our conversion tool. You can upload your manuscript, just like for our ebooks, we'll convert it to a print ready PDF, right? And run that through the whole process. But we've got templates. They're very much like what you'd find in like Vellum, except for they're free on our platform. And you don't have to have a Mac. If you are using a Windows machine, if you're using a Linux machine, if you're using your iPhone, I've actually used them on my iPhone. So you can actually upload your manuscript and get some nice looking templates and formatting, complete with like bells and whistles, like little graphics in the header and the first letter is capitalized, drop caps, things like that. But we also have this, one of my favorite tools is if you only have an ebook cover, we will auto-magically convert that into, and if you look on Mark Lefebvre's got one of the books on his screen, it'll automatically convert that ebook cover into a full print cover, a wraparound cover.
Oh, wow.
It is a very cool tool. And we in Mark's show, I should let Mark talk so his feed comes up. I don't know if his feed is.
Oh, that's right.
showing
No
that.
one is seeing this right now.
No one's seeing this.
Mark is waving books at us, and they
Okay,
look
Mark,
great.
you're
Oh,
on.
I didn't realize that. I just wanted to show an
After
example
we
of uploading a
start.
front cover. And then when you don't have the back cover, we'll make a back cover for you and allow you a bit more customization in terms of the way it looks, in terms of being able to change the font size, the bold, adjust, even adding logos to the spine, etc.
Show us the dark one that you
Yeah,
held
show
up
the
Yeah,
first
this is
one.
the dark one. This is a really small one. Just had the front cover paid for, and then the rest is just done by.
Oh, you got a nice headshot on the back there. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Author photo, etc. So it's very flexible for authors who don't want to have to pay. So for example, my cover designer, I pay, really great price for a front cover, but it's an extra $100 to get the full cover wrap done. So in certain cases, especially for the smaller books that I have, I don't want to bear that additional expense. I just use Draft2Digital's automatic cover wrap, because let's be honest, when you're selling print on demand, nobody's looking at anything with the front cover anyway until after they've purchased it. So
And by then it's too late.
it's too late, ha ha ha. But really, they're not gonna, they've decided to buy it because of the description and the copy and the beautiful cover and the good price that you put on it.
Can I ask real quick?
Yeah.
about your formatting that you were describing, your vellum clone or what have you. Do you allow for full page images in it? I myself use maps. I think if you're a fantasy writer, you're probably required by law to have maps. And I know that early on, vellum didn't let you do that. So do you, like, if you had full page images, would you be able to put those in?
You're going to run into a problem when you go full page, because once you go beyond the bleed on the print.
Well, what I mean is,
yeah, but
it's not a chapter image or something. It's
in the margins.
an image
you
somewhere.
can, if you've embedded it properly in the Word document so that it doesn't get shuffled to the very end of the book, it has to be anchored properly. Yes, you can have a full page map at the opening of a fantasy novel, for example. It's just.
And are you able to, let's say you don't know how to anchor things well, are you able to like see how awful it is the way you just
yes,
sent it,
you'll be able to see how
take it
awful
back
it
and
turns out. And the
try,
other thing about, and we didn't mention this at all, is we have dedicated customer service folks in Central Time between 9 and 5 p.m. that will actually get on the phone with you and walk you through this process. And that's one of the reasons we've slowly rolled people into the print, is we want to make sure, as people are now discovering print, because it's a lot more complex than ebooks, that we actually provide the proper customer service that they're used to getting from us on the ebook side. And our customer service folks are amazing, and they will get on the phone with you and say, okay, Nick, no, open up the Word document, do this, try this button, click that button. We have really great relationships with our authors. Of course, that takes time, right? Because you can't be on the phone with 1,000 authors all at the same time with, limited number of staff, but we do our best to talk to you. You can actually call and speak with us, which I think just sets us apart in a dramatic way.
Yeah, try that with
the
Amazon.
Things that I hear from a lot of authors is that when they have a problem, all they got to do is pick up the phone. They don't have to bother with an email and the response time is really quick when they do email. So
that's right.
Your customer service is doing really good.
That is that's the backbone of the whole company, is that support. I cannot praise these people enough. I could never do their job. I'd be in a prison, honestly. There's no way I could survive doing the job of customer support. But these people they're highly trained. They know this business inside and out. They know the technology inside and out. They live primarily right here. Well, I was going to say here. I'm not in Oklahoma City, but most of our team is in Oklahoma, where our home office is. And those who are remote are, they're all, completely on board. They all know all the processes. Everybody, we're not outsourcing to any services that don't understand our market or our business. So the best, I will stand by it. The best customer support you're going to get from anybody. I don't care what industry it is. I wish our customer support worked for all the services I have to deal with daily.
Well, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah. So.
I've got some other questions lined up here, but we want to make sure we get the YouTube folks. Do we have any questions coming in?
Oh, there's a question about what it costs to make a book. That's going to vary from author to author and genre to genre. And let's see, there's one. Nick, is that Coke or Pepsi?
Neither. Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
I recognize that label.
Yes, indeedy. All right, let me ask about. Okay, early on, I meant to jump in when we were making some comparisons between KDP and Draft2Digital. I know, other than Kindle, big reason a lot of people do KDP is the ability to do deals and countdowns and such, and to get Kindle deals and Prime Reading. You work with many different retailers that are not Amazon.
Right.
What kind of leverage do you have? Are you able to set up deals and things with those retailers for books?
Yeah, for sure. We actually have a full-time employee, Megan Spann, whose sole focus as the author promotions coordinator is working with our partners And we primarily work with the partners that we're in regular contact with are Apple, Kobo, Nook, Overdrive. And we are in partnership with Hoopla, Baker and Taylor, Biblioteca. Occasionally we're doing promotions with Viblio, which is based in France. And these are different promotions where you can get invited to be part of promos that the retailers are running. For example, right now, we were just in the process of soliciting, there was a nonfiction sale for Overdrive. So any of the authors who had nonfiction, they could set, okay, Overdrive's going to do a big promo on nonfiction. Tell us what discount you want to offer, that you're willing to offer, that Overdrive's going to offer to the libraries, anywhere between 20% to 50%. And then we will curate those for you, work with Overdrive, and then Overdrive pushes that out to the libraries so you can make those library sales. We do, I think we just pushed out one with Apple, one with Kobo, and we're constantly filtering through different promos like that very soon, because we do have the Smashwords store now, as we're getting into a place where, you know, very soon, and by soon, I mean, hopefully in the next several months, the ability for Draft2Digital authors to push a button to get their stuff into the Smashwords store, and using the Smashwords store as well, because we don't have to beg for retail space. We own that space. We can spotlight, we can feature author titles. And one of the benefits is when you sell through the Smashwords store is you're making 85%. That's the highest percentage you're going to get from anywhere, which is phenomenal. And we really want to leverage that as we go forward to help authors earn more, but also be in control, because the Smashwords store has long had go and create your own coupon codes if you want to create coupon codes for your readers, for your newsletters or whatever. But we'll be doing more of those promos. And one of the reasons we want to do this is we may curate 500 titles that we think are great for a retailer, but they only use 150 of them. Well, if we have extra titles, maybe we can just feature them ourselves and help those authors get more sales, because that's really what it's all about, is how can we help authors get traction on as many different retail sites as possible to reach as many different readers around the globe as possible. And so, no, it's not as easy as the DIY self-serve, you know, countdown deals, but you only get those deals if you're exclusive to Amazon. You can't do a countdown deal when you're not. We also do have, I should mention, promo scheduling, price promos. You can do prices in multiple currencies. We have an automated conversion that will clean your price for you automatically to, I'm in Canada, to Canadian dollars, Australian, New Zealand, GBP, euros, etc. But you can use the price promo tool if you've got a BookBub or something coming up, and you can set it, not forget it, but set it in advance and say, okay, Memorial Day weekend, go drop down to 99 cents, but then after the weekend's over, bring it back up. And we take care of that for you, because we send an Onyx feed to all of our partners, retail partners, ahead of time, so they have it in their system early, so you're not panicking at 5 minutes to midnight hoping to push the button right on time. So some of those promotional tools are, I think they're really phenomenal free tools that we offer to the authors.
And that promo pricing tool is very handy if you get a BookBub feature deal. Like you can automatically set up, you know, right in tune with that feature and have it adjust the prices for you automatically.
Well, and it sounds like your ability, people could leverage D2D and Smashwords far better than Amazon when it comes to international BookBub deals, which for many of us, we just go, do I pay for UK only? So that's something wonderful to know.
Yes. Yeah. I personally leverage that for whenever I do get a BookBub deal. I don't even think about it anymore. In fact, until you mentioned it just now, I kind of forgot that was ever not the way things worked.
Well, I mean, I pre-schedule it, and then I have to put a note in my calendar for Amazon. So, okay, Amazon 10 p.m. the day before, I got to go switch it.
And go in and
And basically, at this point, Amazon is the biggest pain in my rump when it comes to price changing, when it comes to any features. So, and the fact that they limit you and you don't get to just set your price to zero and, you know, things like that, that's very challenging. But on the D2D side, I mean, you get that control all the way down to zero. You can set your prices to zero. Amazon insists that it has to be a minimum of 99 cents. So even if you're distributing to Amazon through us, it's still going to force you to do 99 cents there. So that that is a challenge when you get those BookBub deals and you want to do like a free deal. That is quite a challenge.
Getting them to price match, and then
Yeah.
2 hours before midnight, the price
Yeah.
goes back up to normal.
Yeah, exactly. So
I've heard of that happening to a lot of
that's
people.
happened to me a lot. So,
Weird.
yeah.
I've avoided even applying for a free BookBub for the last 2 years since I went wide, just for that reason. 'cause I
That's
don't want-
exactly
I don't want
what's
the hassle.
happened to me. Yeah, I do the same thing, Wayne. I tend to set it up as a 99-cent deal, if anything. And so, of course, those are harder to get. So you're reducing your odds. So, but that's life for you. Amazon life.
By the same token, by being wide, you're increasing your odds. So
Yes.
being wide and 99 cents to BookBub, I would think would be just as profitable as being Amazon only and free.
It opens things up quite a bit for you. Distributing wide means that, if you do get that deal, the hassle you have to go through to make things work benefits you so much more than the ease of doing things just via Amazon KDP Select, because you're only advertising when you're only in KDP. You're only advertising to a certain set of readers, and not actually a very large set. I mean, for all the talk of Amazon dominating the marketplace in like North American places, it's not a dominant marketplace worldwide. So you're even though you have all these different storefronts via Amazon, you're not necessarily hitting a very large market in these other regions. So being wide is more than just being on every platform. It's about being available to more readers around the world.
You take a platform like Kobo, they're in 52 or 53 countries now.
170.
170.
So you missed it by just a couple.
No,
Wayne.
I was just a
You
little
were
bit.
so close.
Well, they only regularly sell in maybe 60 countries, but 170 in total, right?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about you've grabbed hold of ebooks from the very beginning, and now you're moving into paperbacks. And you have, as I understand it, a partnership with Findaway.
Yes.
So I know that you're sort of got audiobooks in your pocket because of that. But what I'm wondering is everything you told me about Smashwords.
Yeah.
Is Smashwords going to be able to sell audio at some point?
Well, that's a good question. And I know that's something we've kind of kicked around at present.
85% royalty.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Really
Wouldn't
good
it?
to me.
Well, I'm not going to commit the company on something I'm not 100% certain of, but I can say that's an intriguing idea. I'm sure that people are thinking about it. We are looking very closely at audiobooks right now. We see it as a phenomenal growth market. It's kind of amazing, really. Audiobooks have been around since well before ebooks, and yet in a lot of ways they're still kind of the new market. And I think the reason that is the barrier to entry, that is the cost of production. And so what we've got is a kind of interesting scenario that we never had with any other platform, really, in that there's already a dedicated audience for audiobooks. They're already excited about it. They already love them, but there's less competition there because of the cost of entry. So what we're interested in is, how do we reduce that? How do we find ways to reduce that? Now, Findaway Voices has done quite a bit of the groundwork here, which is why they've been such a great partner. And we absolutely think all of our authors should be getting their books into Findaway. But they've got their that marketplace that they introduced, which allows the author to go and audition people, and they can do royalty splits. They can do there's all kinds of options now to help bring down the cost of production and make it easier and less of a barrier to entry. So we really think, I mean, we've talked about this a lot internally, like the future of audiobooks. Like we're definitely invested in this, and we want to find new and better ways to reduce the overhead of it and increase the likelihood that an author gets their book into audio. Because the more of those platforms you're on, the greater your reach, and it's exponential. It's not just like, well, okay, I've added audio, so now I get, a couple hundred more interested people. I mean, it actually exponentially increases your range, because now you're available in all these different marketplaces all over the planet in all these formats. I mean, that's huge growth. That's not just, a step up.
When you look at audiobooks worldwide, Audible is just, they're the biggest player, yeah, but they're not that big. They're only 41% market share.
It's the same problem with Amazon. They're the biggest, quote unquote. They're the biggest to us in this region, but they're not. They don't have the kind of reach. So Findaway actually has this immense reach that goes planet wide. Like they're in all these different markets and all these different retailers, and they get you more places, and they take less from you. They don't require you to be in a 7-year commitment, or any of the ridiculous things and they can get you to Audible as well. So you're not missing out on any of it. Anyway, I've babbled enough. Mark probably has.
Well, I want to just remind authors, if you have an ebook set up at Draft2Digital, getting a print book is click on the print tab. And if you're not in the program, you say, sign me up for the print beta, and you get on the waiting list, and then you get invited relatively quickly, because the wait time is very minimal.
Yeah.
And if you want an audiobook, you click here, a little audio tab. And what we'll do is we'll port all of your metadata over, set it up for you on Findaway to get started, to save you, again, we want to save you the time of having to key that in again. And then what we do is you have two choices. One of them is, I have my own audiobook files, I just want to load them, or I need audiobook files. And when you need audiobook files, there's two processes. One is the project managed process, where somebody from Findaway Voices from the project management team will go in and work to get the narrator for you. There's a setup fee for that we waive the setup fee for you in our partnership with Findaway, so we save you that setup fee. Or the new marketplace they announced earlier this year, where you can go and DIY it just like you would on ACX. And within those processes, you do have payment splitting options. Not that it's free, there's no free option, but there is an option where you pay the narrator 50% of what their regular hourly rate is, and then get a fee. And the reason that Findaway did that is they didn't want the narrators to have to bear the risk, 100% of the risk, which is what happens in the other platform. They wanted it to be a little bit more fair, so that people can start earning money right away, and authors aren't as out of pocket. So, and as Kevin said, they go to more than 43 retailers and library systems around the world, and they're constantly growing. Earlier on their blog, it was this week or today, they announced a partnership with Radish, and there's in June, later in June, they're going to be introducing, and Radish is a completely different sphere from the retailers and libraries we're used to, right? It's a different platform. The other thing I wanted to say, because Kevin was talking about the formats and he was getting me so excited, I've got ebook, I've got trade paperbacks, I've got hardcovers, I've got audiobooks in large print. But where and how do you share on your website all the different places in the world you can get them? And we have a free tool for that. It's called books2read.com. And you can create vanity URLs. You can go to books2read.com/loversmoon for complete self-promotion to look at one of my latest books. And you can find the links to Amazon, as well as the different retailers around the world in the different formats and the audiobook versions. With books2read.com, you can also for free make your own vanity books2read.com/author name for your, what I call it, it's an author central page for everyone, not just for Amazon. So again, those are some of the other free tools that we offer. And a cool thing about Books2Read, you can put your Amazon affiliate link in, Amazon affiliate code. You can put your Apple affiliate code. You can put your Google affiliate code, your Kobo affiliate code. And the great thing about this is because it's, you know how there's terms and conditions, you're not allowed to use your Amazon affiliate in your newsletter. If you use the Books2Read link, it's not a direct affiliate link. It goes to the Books2Read page and then reroutes them to Amazon. So you're not violating their terms of service. So again, another free tool just to help you make it simpler for people to find your books everywhere.
Right there you go, Nick, for Tropical Authors.
Well, I did not know that Books2Read was you guys. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I've seen Facebook.
How do you not know?
Like, oh, wow.
Okay, So
to say
I'm
it
not
has the
doing
same
my
too.
job right, is what you're telling me. Like, you should
Speaking of
know
what,
this by now. Everyone should know. Books to read. It's even got the number 2 in the logo.
Because
It it's kind of a trademark, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, actually, literally now we actually do have a registered trademark on our logo now. So
Speaking of marketplace, Nick, I was on Findaway just a couple of days ago, and you don't have your author portal set up.
it's because they're glitchy, and I have repeatedly said, please do this, please do that, and they're like, oh, we're working on it, and I'm like, I gave up. I'm like, I want my Audible awards. I want this, I want that, and they're like, well, you only get 2 of this and 1 of that. I'm like, let me know when you got that fixed, because right now I have so much narration work as it is. I don't need to poke that tiger anymore, or I'll never get anything written.
Well, that's one thing that independent anybody, narrators, authors, anybody, that's what we love, is being limited. We love having things. We love limitations. We love being told you can only have this much of this.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you get the little pictures of the trophies. You only get 2 trophies.
I mean, come on.
Here's a question on YouTube, and this
Good.
is for me and you, Nick. And I think this is actually a really cool question. So we'll put it out to Mark and Kevin also. Bell writes, I want to run a reading book club. If we read any of your books, will you join us on a Zoom call? And I thought, wow, that's a pretty cool idea.
I will tell you right this second that yes, I will. So
Zoom book clubs. I love that.
the most dangerous space in the world.
Thanks, Bill.
The most dangerous space you'll ever be in is the space between me and this microphone.
Yeah,
I would certainly, if I'm available, I'll do it. Sure.
This past year when who was doing
Ernie?
that live? Ernie. Yeah, Ernest. I've been watching him every time he goes on live now. He's got a really good show going there.
He does, yeah. Ernest Dempsey. You should definitely check out his books. He's a thriller author like me.
And that was the question I've been waiting to ask. You guys aren't just businessmen in the D2D world. You both write. And I can tell Mark writes because he's got skulls everywhere. No normal person does that.
Is that what I'm missing? I'm missing skulls.
What do you guys do? Tell us a little bit. We'll start with Kevin, just because you're on top on my picture here.
Okay.
What do you write? And then we'll move on to Mark.
Well, I write thriller novels mostly. I've written cross genre in sci-fi and fantasy, some things that sort of defy BISAC categorization, but I've got mostly thriller novels, around closing in on 60 at this point.
Wow.
And they, I primarily write archaeological thrillers and technological thrillers. I got two main series there, and those have actually led to some sort of spin-offs, like crossover series, a crossover series called Historical Crimes, and that is where all my characters can kind of meet on the same playing field and battle the baddies together. But yeah, I've been doing this for quite a while. I don't think I've been doing it anywhere near as long as Mark Lefebvre here has, but that's my genres.
And yet I don't have as many books as you are, Kevin. I've only got about 30 books out, mostly under Mark Leslie, because nobody can ever spell or pronounce Lefebvre.
But that's because you got them right the first time, Mark. That's all. You didn't have to go back and add 30 more to make up for it.
I write, if you can't tell from the skulls, I do have, and I traditionally published as well as self-published. So I do have some true ghost story books. Haunted Hospitals, probably one of the most well-known ones. I have my Canadian werewolf, urban fantasy humor, paranormal series. And I also do write books for authors under Mark Leslie Lefebvre, and I use that branding because I'm more known to authors with the Lefebvre that you can't pronounce name, where I do have books, Wide for the Win, an author's guide to working with bookstores and libraries, or even accounting for authors, which I just co-authored with Deanna Hart or DF Hart. So yeah, but not as many books as Kevin. I'm just not as fast of a writer, apparently.
Or as much a glutton for punishment.
I How many years have you been writing, Kevin? 60 books. Wow.
I had a traditional contract back in 2006 that kind of fell apart, and ended up starting with self-publishing 2008. But the bulk of books were written between 2013 and now. So and for a time I was releasing a book a month, just to show the world I could.
Oh my God. Please tell me they're novellas.
No, these are full on 60,000 words minimum.
We need to put you together with
Oh.
Cap Daniels. Could you imagine that, Nick?
Oh my God.
I actually have a book. I have a book called Evergreen that I wrote in a 60,000 word book. I wrote in a single day while I was kind of on layover in Manhattan during Thanksgiving.
I thought you were going to say while I was on OxyContin.
Well, I
was.
I wasn't on Oxycontin, but I was on a lot of coffee and not a small amount of scotch.
So it
Well-
required heavy editing, is what you're saying, right?
When it was done, surprisingly less editing than you might think. A lot less than I thought it was going to take. When it was done, I have a team I have a street team is what I call them, my sort of advanced readers, and handed the book to them, expecting to get it back, as a bloodbath. But it was surprisingly clean. And I did do a slight rewrite on it a few years after to kind of bring it up to modern standards. But other than that, I haven't touched it much. I mean, it's actually one of my most popular books. People, for some reason, tend to like that book quite a bit.
Well, Wayne, do we have any more YouTube questions hovering?
I'm more or less answering as many as I can in the chat.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
Well, that makes for riveting podcasting. Wayne.
Yeah, I was
when you're
saying you could share with us.
Some of them are off topic, and somebody was asking what color underwear Mark was wearing, and I don't know.
We told you
Skull
up front.
underwear. Of course I have skulls on my underwear. What are you talking
Skull
about?
underwear. Okay.
I was expecting Spider-Man briefs, actually, Mark.
Oh, that's on Tuesdays. I wear
That's
them. Yeah.
Tuesday is Spider-Man briefs day.
For anybody joining us late, we're talking to Mark Lefebvre and Kevin Tumlinson with Draft2Digital. Draft2Digital is a aggregating service. You upload your manuscript and your cover one time, and they distribute it to everybody on the planet. That's basically it, right?
Yeah, one at a time. We just take your book. We travel to each individual bookstore, and it's digital, so we have to carry like a little flash drive with us. But yeah,
It puts a lot of miles on that van, huh?
we get those Amex travel miles. Yeah, the van. Exactly.
Didn't you get a new one?
Yeah, we didn't get a new one. We built a house, and so we've come off the road, and we are actually the van is actually available for sale if anyone is interested, so that we can get a couple more practical daily drivers. But yeah, spent 2 years living full time traveling in that van.
There's some history there.
Yeah, I wrote at least 6 books in the passenger seat of that van, so it's full of energy, full of writer energy.
Well, Wayne, I think, wrote some of his work in the cab of a long haul truck, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the first 4.
Yeah, that's like James Cameron. You and James Cameron share some history there, because he was a truck driver, right? Writing scripts and planning out movies and stuff. So
It was fun while it lasted, but I'm glad I'm off the road. I couldn't do that anymore.
I liked being on the road. It has its ups and downs, of course, but my scenario is a lot different than yours. But that I liked it because it inspiration is easy to find when you're driving place to place and checking out whatever catches you
too, right?
Yeah, my wife, our little Chihuahua was with us.
Every Monday I drive off and leave my wife and my daughter and the dogs
hard.
and come back 2 weeks later and mow the grass and do it again.
Yeah, that's hard. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that either.
Let me ask, how long has D2D been around? Like, when did you guys start?
Mark, I kept talking. I'm going to let you talk now.
10 years. We are celebrating our 10th anniversary. So founded in 1992. So this is really exciting and
That's
such
not,
an
that's
exciting.
not accurate, sir.
What?
We were not founded in
That was 30
1992.
years
Oh,
ago.
sorry. No,
I was like, wait, is that
20
10?
no,
20
that's 30
2012.
some years. No, I can't do math. Apparently, that would be 2012. It would be
Yes.
2012 is
So close, though.
The 70s were just 10 years ago, right? Come on, you can tell my age, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
10
didn't
years,
want
which
that
is
number
great
out there.
for the acquisition and merger with Smashwords. It was a perfect opportunity. Smashwords was the leading aggregator that were there in the earliest days of self-publishing there for authors. Draft2Digital came along, and the two of us were fighting side by side, fighting the good fight, trying to help authors get their books out into that global market. And we realized we had way more in common. We would be able to do more together better. Which I guess the 10th anniversary was just the perfect opportunity for us to do that.
Yeah. For our 10th anniversary, we decided to become 4 years older, basically. Because Smashwords has been around for 14 years. So technically,
Mark's math, 30 years older.
Yeah, that's right.
By Mark's math, that was 1983.
That's right. What a great year for music too.
I bet Mark rocked a mullet big time.
Oh, you have no
I had a
idea the mullet I had. Now I had to get rid of it because it'd be more like a skullet because the hair only goes to about here.
Yeah, you look like a
I
friar
had a
monk.
mullet from the time I got out of the Marine Corps for about 3 years. 18-inch ponytail. I worked as a dive master, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah, I had the mullet early days, all through high school. Wasn't sad to see it go.
So speaking of past lives, what did you guys do before you became writers and before Draft2Digital?
So if you were to look at my work history, it looks like, the front page of like Indeed.com or something. I've had a lot of jobs. I was at various times. So I've been a teacher. I was a minister. I was a private investigator. I was an engineer, an electronics engineer. So, I've had quite a few jobs. I worked in radio and TV for years. Writing was always the thing I did as a through line to everything else I did. And as it should be. I mean, it's a foundational skill. It's something that you can, you can use to boost your career in no matter what field you're in. But, I did a lot of that kind of stuff. And before I came to Draft2Digital, I had a copywriting business. I had a little marketing agency I kind of built, mostly copywriting, and was working mostly with like the oil and gas industry and medical industry and stuff like that. Here and there, no longer in the Houston area, but when I was in the Houston area, and had my podcast and all that, and that's how I became introduced to D2D, was through the show. And it's just been a click and fit ever since then.
Well, based on your resume there, I think you've got your 60 books, but you can probably get 20 books out of it.
So yeah, basically I just wrote a
pastor PI.
Right. Oh,
that
man,
would be what I would like to see.
So I had a few years back when I still was in my senior year in college for my undergrad degree. I ended up going out for a night with Tim O'Brien, who wrote The Things They Carried. If you were familiar with him, he wrote a lot of Vietnam literature. And I told him that story about being a minister and a PI. And he immediately said, that is a character you need to write books based on that character. I've yet to do it, but yeah. So
who's that one in the Mexican thrillers? He wears the frock and everything and the collar, but he goes around killing bad guys left and right.
Oh, I don't know. Sounds like something I'd be interested in, though.
It's one of those B movie Mexican type things.
Okay.
I can't remember what his name is. He was in several movies.
I haven't seen it, but Sounds like something I got to find.
Well, Mark, what about you?
I started writing on a typewriter at the age of 14. I was writing earlier than that, but I started sending. This is back in the old days where the only option was traditional publishing. Got my first rejection at the age of 15, and I've acquired thousands of them since then. The year my very first short story was published, 1992. This is actually 1992, not the fake time that Draft2Digital was born. Was the year I started. I graduated from college and started working as a part-time bookseller in the book industry. And I worked my way around the book industry in various incarnations of store manager, etc. I went to head office at Chapters Indigo, which for Americans would be the equivalent of Barnes and Noble. Worked at their head office and headed up the data team that was accepting submissions from publishers. Built a platform while I was there that allowed small publishers and self-published authors the ability to publish their books to the online catalog with the potential of getting them listed in the retail store. Then I moved from there to a university bookstore. Then I went to Kobo to build their self-publishing platform, Kobo Writing Life. And I thought I would retire from the corporate world and write full-time. I didn't make it quite a year until I was having drinks on a beach at St. Pete with Chris Austin, the CEO of Draft2Digital. And by the end of that drinking session, I had a job at Draft2Digital. I realized I couldn't leave the industry because I missed working with really smart, passionate people, building cool stuff for authors. And actually, ironically, I thought I would be able to write full time. I couldn't because I had too much time on my hands. But ever since joining Draft2Digital on a part-time basis, it's been perfect for me because I'm inspired and motivated by working with great people every day. But I also have those few extra hours to get stuff done. And because I have limited hours, I've gotten more writing done since joining Draft2Digital than in the previous years. Yeah, it was amazing. It's just been such an amazing experience for me. Joining the team, not just because of the satisfaction I get working with the people I work with, but also because it's narrowed my time down so much that I'm actually more proficient in getting stuff written when I do have free time.
That should tell you something, by the way, that I don't think either of us actually has to work for anybody at this point. But we both are part of this industry and community in such a way that, you know, my way of giving back has always been to do this kind of stuff. You know, I just enjoy being a part of the community. Draft2Digital is such a huge part of the community. You know, it didn't necessarily start that way, but it's like, since I've been there, it's just grown and grown and grown and becomes so entrenched with writers and the way writers deal with their work and get their work out there. And we are at all the conferences and we meet all the people, and, you know, I'm part of that community, you know, that Draft2Digital serves. And I have this mission, and part of that mission is to give back to all of this, because it changed my life so much, dude. When I started self-publishing, it was such a life-altering thing. Like, it changed the trajectory of my career, everything. You know, I told you about all the jobs. I mean, I was always looking for the job. I was always looking for the thing that would allow me to make the money so that I could stop working and write full time, you know, never quite thinking that I could have been writing that whole time. Well, once I started kind of getting into that, I realized this is where I am. These are my people. This is who I want to help. I love helping what I call the will-be authors to get out there, and the established authors. I love helping people figure this business out. So, sorry, I tacked on at the end of Mark's thing, but I'm very passionate about this, so it's not really hard to get me going on about it.
That's one of the things about Draft2Digital and Readsy and Find a Way that I've been most impressed with is the personal aspect of it. I know you guys. I've met you. I recognize you, and of course, Mark would tower above everybody. But I know who you guys are. We drank together. We've ate together, and same with Readsy and Find a Way, Will Dagus and Ricardo, and just hanging around with these kind of people, and the level that we hang out with when we're at that little tiki bar in St. Pete.
Yeah.
And Nick's going to miss it this year. And but we've got a couple of other tropical authors going to come this year.
And we're bringing a Nick of our
Mark,
own.
you're going to be looking up at one of them.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Cap Daniels is 6'5".
Nice.
Well, I'll tell you what, we have a little more time here, and I have a question that probably should have been tucked in earlier during all the technical stuff. But how does D2D do reporting with all the different? Do you have your own thing, and like Findaway, there's a few retailers you kind of have to wait for them to get around to it a month later.
Yeah, that's one of the challenges because we distribute to so many places. Like we even just reported, Kevin, what was it, last Thursday? We reported the Q1 sales amalgamation because we had to wait until close to the end of May to get all of the Q1 sales from all of the different platforms in order to get those sales. But our reporting, I think one of the challenges is our reporting is so sophisticated, it's overwhelming for most authors. You go to reports, there's a high level view, which is very, just high level dollars and units. When you go into reports, there's some custom reports, but they're so powerful. And I don't think authors realize just how much they can do with them, but you can go in and re-customize and sort by series or only show from, you can show by units, you can show by dollars, you can show by retailer, you can show by title. If you're, and we also have collaboration tools. We have payment splitting. So for example, books that I've published myself in a payment split, or books where I'm a contributor to someone else publishing, I have the ability to see those sales reports, save the report, and really get a feel for it. Then you get into the raw sales data there too, where you can actually even see the country where it's published. Like, so there's so much. I think one of the challenges is we built this really robust tool, but it's a little bit scary and overwhelming for the average author. So I think, Kevin, we probably need to do some more webinars to help walk people through.
We got them.
Yeah.
We got them coming.
Oh, they're probably, you've already
we probably need to
those.
do, I don't know that we've done one on reports though. So that's a good topic.
Because I think it's very powerful. Like there's just really so much there.
A walkthrough of how to do everything that the tools do. Yeah. Because I find it pretty daunting myself. And I've been connected with Draft2Digital now for 2 years. And, but the basic dashboard is really cool. It's super simple. Boom. Yeah. Click on it. Right there's how many books I've sold this month and this year.
Yep.
I'll be honest with you. I love our reporting. I think it's very robust, but I also do publish direct to Kindle, and I do publish direct to a couple other platforms. I've been using ScribeCount for the last probably 6+ months, and I just find it so easy because I can get my Smashword sales, my Draft2Digital sales, my direct sales, all in a single platform, and I can easily slice and dice that, and it's a lot less stressful for me. So that's a shortcut I've used. What's that?
I've been with ScribeCount for a year, and it's far and above any other reporting tool.
Yeah. But what I do like is I can say, show me my sales Draft2Digital, or I can say, don't show Draft2Digital because Draft2Digital doesn't sell my books. Show me the platform Draft2Digital sells to. So specifically, I never publish direct to Nook. I never publish direct to Apple. So all my Apple and Nook sales, plus all my library sales, are all showing up by the name of the. So you have the choice there, right? You can show them by Draft2Digital, or you can show them by the name of the downstream retailer or library.
I know ScribeCount was having some issues with KU changing their reporting. Has that been ironed out yet?
I'm not sure. I know. Oftentimes when there's questions related to that, they're pretty good if you submit a ticket to ScribeCount or just ask that little comment. Whenever I've had an issue, they've been pretty good about getting back to me.
Wayne, it looks like you've got a YouTube question.
No, I'm looking up something to answer a question.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll just answer it on the air. It's easier that way. Link will be September 21st through the 25th, Yvonne. It's already sold out, so you're out of luck. But next year will be just as big and just as better, or just as good.
I can't wait to return to the pre-Nink beer crawl days. that I
Oh, you
often-
did that last year?
the informal, well, not the last 2 years, but previously I set the day before NINC started. It was like a beer crawl day that started at 11 a.m. and whoever wanted to join me, you could stick it out till 1 in the morning.
And I didn't learn about it until I got there, and I'm a craft beer nut. Next time.
I've never gotten any of the t-shirts or anything. I'm too much of a wuss, I guess. I never quite make it. I don't know. There's too many bars, man. It's just too many. I'm the this is my bar guy, right? Like I want to show up. I want people to call my name out as I walk in, like Norm Peterson.
Hey,
on
Norm.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Kevin, all of the breweries at St. Pete Beach, they all know my name.
Oh, I know, Mark. I know. I don't think there's a brewery between here and Ontario that doesn't know your name when you walk in.
I actually have memberships at 2 of the breweries in Oklahoma City because I would be there for quarterly Draft2Digital office. So I was like, well, I may as well have a membership here. I spend a lot of time.
All right. Well, we're in overtime. It's after 7:30, and my wife's putting dinner on the table. So I want to thank you guys. It's been a lot of fun, very informative discussion. And for anybody watching the future recorded episode, draft2digital.com. That's with a letter or number 2 in the middle. Draft2Digital.
We own the
.com.
near misses too, though. So if you have,
What's that?
we own the near misses to that too. So
Oh, you do? Okay.
Oh,
So you can
You'll
put
get
draft
there.
TO and draft TOO and draft TWO and
Digital to draft. Yeah.
TOE.
maybe not every near miss.
Thank you guys for being on the show, and stick around after we go unlive and for the after party. But I really appreciate you coming on here. It's been a lot of fun, and we'll see you at the beach in September. And thanks to our supporters, Aurora Publicity, Down Island Publishing, Down Island Press, Tropical Authors, How Not to Sail, Latitudes and Attitudes. Who am I forgetting, Jordan? I think I got everybody. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Take care, everybody.